How's it going, everyone? This is Daniel with the Voice of College Football Oklahoma, giving you the latest updates in Oklahoma recruiting. A lot to talk about, a lot to be proud about, if you're a Sooners fan. Number one overall class right now in the 2027 class, according to 247. The number 3 rated class, according to Rivals. But you be the judge. The eye in the sky does not lie. We're going to watch some film of the top 5 commits and go over a few more here for the Sooners. Now, they're coming off a huge year recruiting-wise. Bo Bentley, Jake Krull, Deacon Schmidt, 3 of my favorites of last year's class. Not just saying that. And they all went to Oklahoma. So I was like, okay, Oklahoma's definitely going to be getting some wins here. They're going to be making a run at this thing, along with some other schools that we're not used to seeing in the past 5-10 years of making a run. And I think that's good for college football. I think Oklahoma is going to be a force to be reckoned with here. They're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're actually able to land some guys here in the past couple years. And I do think it's going to translate to success on the field. So let's take a look at it here. We're going to look at, like I said, 5 commits, some familiar names, if you're following, or if not, if you're just a football fan, you might know a couple of these names here. So let's get into it. All right, so for the commits here, we got Caden Penny, offensive lineman out from Bixby, Oklahoma, in-state guy, 6'4", 280. We're going to take a little bit of film here from him, and I think they're going to add some weight on to Caden. I don't think it's going to be hard. Those D1 facilities, especially those Power 4 facilities and those resources, they'll put as much weight on you as they want, and they'll pretty much, treat you like a ball of clay. I think that's what they'll do with Caden Penny. But we're looking at Cooper Hackett as well. A big 6'6", 250 offensive tackle. Like I said, they're going to probably put some weight on him as well. Be more of a project, weight room-wise. But from what I've seen, his football IQ looks pretty high, and you'll be able to take a look at that for yourself. But the next Cooper we have 2 Coopers back-to-back. This one here is Cooper Witten. You might know his last name, son of Jason Witten. So pretty crazy here. The football genes, they run deep. And like I said, man, absolute playmaker. He played on both sides of the field there for Liberty Christian in Texas. He's going to have a big senior year. We'll see if he plays on both sides of the field this year. But right now they have him being recruited as a linebacker. Absolute dog. Just old school linebacker, gets the ball loose. Not afraid to hit, not afraid to being the hammer, not the nail. And I love to see that these days. I think a lot of the kids these days, they get a bad rap. I cover a lot of recruiting, go around camps to camps, and I'll tell you first, a lot of these kids ain't like that. They want to get nasty, they want to get dirty, they want to hit. And looks like Cooper Witten's another one of those guys. But the next commit we're going to look at is Seneca Driver. I mean, talk about a big body tight end. We got him at 6'6", 234 on his huddle. He said he's 6'7", so hey, I guess we'll see once he gets on campus, gets those official measurements. I know they like to do official measurements these days, on visits, so I don't blame them, and we'll see the exact height. I mean, the difference between 6'6" and 6'7", not too much, because you're going to be able to see for yourselves. This guy right here can go up and get it. Doesn't matter if he has to go an extra inch up and get it or not. He will do that. The next guy we'll look at film-wise is Taven Epps. I'm really excited for this guy. He's listed as an athlete. We'll see, where you guys think he'll be once he gets on campus, and it'd be really cool to see, where they put him at. Jalen Scott's another guy here, safety, 6', 165, rated 121 overall in the nation, but 11 in his position. So just outside the top 10 in his position. It is an absolute deep class. I mean, 2027 class is probably the deepest it gets when it comes to quarterback for sure, and a couple other positions. So, out of the top 150 quarterbacks in the nation, 100 starters there for sure. So it's a deep class, so I'm not a big ratings guy. Just pop on the film and usually be able to tell if he's a player or not. So the next group of commits we have here for Oklahoma is Crew Jones, big guy, 6'4", 233 edge. Feel like we just have prototype edges coming out year in and year out, and I love it. It's best for the game because the offensive tackle is getting more athletic. So is the edge, position. It's kind of, matching and canceling out, and we're just getting freak on freak, just beast on beast everywhere you go across the nation. I feel like every program's got a beast edge or a beast tackle to go along with it. So I'll take a look at Mikhail McCurry as well. Keldred Ben is another guy here very excited about. DeMar DeZurin. So we got the running back Ben. I mean, 5'10", 208. Looks like he's going to be a speed guy. Get him around. Let's run some zone. Let's get this guy around the corner, and he can hit the sideline and get up through. But like I said, DeMar DeZurin's another guy as well. Wide receiver. Looks like he might play slot. 5'10", 170 is the only reason I say that. But, hey, we have guys under 6 foot, guys 5'10", that play on the outside as well. So, hey, Maybe he'll be making plays on both the inside and the outside. And then we got Elijah Harmon, D lineman, 6'3", 280. 31st ranked defensive lineman. So very excited to see what he has. Then another guy I want to highlight is Jamison Roberts. I know you can probably get a quarterback if you're a P4 program every single year. It's probably smart to, but Jamison Roberts is another guy who has some undeniable film. I'm currently rating the top 150 quarterbacks in the nation, and Jamison Roberts is vastly underrated. He's rated 21st in the nation in quarterbacks, but I think he's a lot higher than that. It's a crazy class, like I said, and Jamison Roberts is a big reason why. But let's get into some film here, people. All right, the Sooners. You got to, show what we have. We can look at 247, we can look at rivals, but the eye in the sky don't lie. Let's look at some film here. Let's look first here at Caden Penny. Like I said, I think he's going to be a guy they're going to add some weight to, but it's really not a problem if you play O-line. They can put weight on you pretty quick once you get in those D1 facilities. I've seen a lot of guys do it. Personally, I had a teammate who couldn't gain weight for nothing. He went and played for Louisville, and they put him about 40 pounds on him in about 2 months. So they can never get weight on, do 8 a ton, but I don't know what it is. Just that strength and conditioning programs is different once you get to the big programs, and there's a big reason why, they put all the resources into those type of, resources. Because, bar none, you really can't put a price tag on it. We put a price tag on all these kids all the time, but you cannot put a price tag on a good strength and conditioning program. It gets coaches fired if you have a bad one, and gets coaches raises if you have a good one. So we'll see what Big Penny does. And then Cooper Hackett, like we've mentioned earlier, offensive tackle, just going to keep the quarterback's jersey clean. Fat guys win championships. I feel like that's a lot of people know that. The game is won up front on both sides of the ball. Offense, defense, doesn't matter. If you're not, having guys move the opposing guys on the other side, probably not going to have too much success. You can always draw up some gimmick plays that'll work maybe for a quarter, maybe for a game. But down the season, if you don't have a good offensive line or defensive line, it's usually not going to work out for your team. So the Sooners are trying to beef up their line. Like I said, I've mentioned Deacon Schmidt last year, one of my favorite recruits, who's now on campus at Oklahoma. He'll be playing sooner than later, and I think we'll see some other guys too, like Cooper Hackett as well. Get on the field for Oklahoma and try to earn some wins there for Boomer Sooner Nation. But yeah, man, I feel like with offensive line, if you don't know what you're looking for, it can kind of seem repetitive and seem redundant, but he's got great footwork, and I think he's well, got the ranking. I feel like he's deserved it. So he is currently rated 41st overall, number 4 overall tackle, and 3 in the state. So shout out to Cooper Hackett, just trying to stay healthy, put together a big senior year, and I think he'll do so. But let's get into the familiar name here, like we mentioned earlier, Cooper Witten. Jason Witten's son, absolute playmaker. If you watch the film and I said, all right, tell me what position this guy plays, you'd be like, all right, might play both. Might be playing some wide out, might be playing, some tight end, but man, absolute dog. And I can't wait to see what happens. I'm kind of getting mesmerized with watching the film. This guy can get off the freaking line. He can move, go ups and gets it. But like I said, he's kind of that old school, he'll thump you and he'll play. Now, he's listed as a linebacker, and I love that they're putting him at linebacker because we may see another, both sides of the field here, because I don't know. I would put him in some packages offensive, to be honest. Personally. This guy's an absolute dog. He put his nose in there. He's not scared. Watch this whole highlight tape. He had like 5 forced fumbles or around there. I think I counted 4 or 5. And, man, just the very first play, he had a fumble recovery for touchdown in his huddle plays. So, man, watch out for Witten. The name is true. The game is true, and rightfully so. So, Oklahoma, you got a lot to be excited about here. And, man, just hope you'll be able to retain them and help you be able to keep them. And I think they'll be able to. And the number one thing besides dollars that keeps them kids committed is winning on the field. So let's see. Our next guy here, we're going to look at Seneca Driver. Seneca Driver, absolute dog from Kentucky. They don't have, too many, guys coming out of Kentucky, in my opinion. So, but we got, Seneca Driver going crazy. We got Taven Epps here. So Taven Epps making plays here on the outside. And then we'll actually show you Seneca Driver here in just a second. So, Taven Epps here, California native, 77th in the nation, number 5 athlete overall. You choose where this guy's going to go. I think he's going to, I think he's going to play a little bit of everywhere. it's a pretty hard decision where you're going to put this guy on the field, but hey, might see him return some kicks, might be playing, some little nickel, and might playing some, wide receiver. We'll see. I think you're going to put him on defense there, throw him at linebacker, put an extra 15, 10 pounds on him, and I'd say go out there and just make some plays, wreak havoc, and be a guy where offensive coordinators just have to scheme around, and just a guy like, all right, we probably can't take care of him. We're going to have to try to take him out of the equation as much as we can, even though it looks like it might be impossible, if he progresses like we think he's going to progress. So, yeah, man, I think a lot of these guys, they are just, they're each getting in college. They're going to early enroll, most of them. If you go to a private school, I don't know if you know, some of these guys that go to private schools, they will not let them early enroll. So it just depends on where you go, and a lot of people don't know that does play, into factor if you get to early enroll or not. So a lot of these guys are going to want to early enroll, rightfully so, and I can't wait to see it, man. Oklahoma, they're going to have a lot of wins, I think, in the next 2 years. And Seneca Driver's here. We're going to take a look at him. This is the guy at 6'6". He's 6'7" on his huddle. I don't blame him giving him the extra inch, but hey, we'll know the exact measurements once he gets on campus. But this is big Seneca Driver, one of the best tight ends in the nation. Just big body. We've talked about a couple of these guys. You might have to add some weight to him. Seneca's probably not one of those guys you're going to have to add too much weight to. Just naturally, he'll probably get about 5 pounds, once he gets on campus. But just get the ball in his hand. I think he'll play his freshman year. So, yeah, I think he's going to play his freshman year. I don't think that's too crazy of a hot take. If you watch the film, it's there. He's got it. So he's there playing in the state championship here. From Kentucky, from my neck of the woods. I'm a Kentucky native, and like I said, we don't have too many guys. We don't churn them out like a lot of the Californias, the Georgias, the Floridas, even like Ohio, just up the street. But once we get guys from Kentucky, it looks like it's pretty rare, and he's just an absolute ball maker, undeniable. If this guy was from any state, I think he'd be getting recruited as high as he did. So Oklahoma's going to try to keep him in. It's going to be a tall task to keep this guy committed. Hopefully he grew up an Oklahoma fan, has got some crazy ties. Hopefully the coaching staff made a really good impression on him because, man, I can only imagine, you find your home. You haven't even played a down of your senior year, and his phone's going to be ringing all the way up until the day he steps foot on campus for Oklahoma. So can't wait to see how that plays out. But Seneca Driver, man, be a name to look out. All these guys, look out for these guys. Oklahoma is going to try to put a national championship ring on their fingers here, and you're going to need dogs to do it. And they're recruiting dogs, so they just got to put it together on the field. But we look at Caden Penny, Cooper Hackett, Cooper Witten, Seneca Driver, and Taven Epps. Taven Epps was that athlete there. We'll see where they put him. But like I said, the list does not stop there. The fun doesn't stop there. They have a bunch of guys, man. I liked Keldrick Ben, a running back, Crew Jones personally, Mikael McCreary. Those are guys when I was watching film last night, I'm like, oh my gosh. Just, they pop out of the screen. And then a guy like Jamison Roberts, who I'm very familiar with. I scouted him way back last year and then started scouting him for this top 150 in January. And I'm just like, how is this guy not rated higher? And I was surprised he didn't get the Elite 11 invite on the finals. But we'll see if that changes. Because, man, he's got a lot of talent. I think he'll play wherever he goes. Wherever he starts his sophomore year, junior year, he is going to be a dog. But we'll keep you updated here, everything recruiting-wise for Oklahoma. Are they going to be able to keep the number one rating there according to 247? Can they take the number one rating there according to Rivals? It's cool to see where they're rated at on these websites, but hey, just take a look at the talent like we just did, and I think you'll be like, okay, they just got the right guys coming in. It's really not all about getting the top-rated guys. It's getting the guys that really fit well with your program. I think Oklahoma's done that. USC's doing that. Those are two schools that, and UCLA as well, you could throw them in there. 3 schools right there, Oklahoma, USC, and UCLA, who they're trying to turn that page and trying to start a new era. And I think Oklahoma is going to be on the forefront of that. And we will keep you updated throughout the offseason, whether it be top 5 lists, visits, commits, all the above. Anything regarding a Boomer Sooner recruiting, we will keep you updated. And stay tuned to the Voice of College Football Oklahoma, and we'll keep you updated. Y'all have a good one.